Another day, another haircut, bit of a tidy up. Was a bit of a mess yesterday, so I needed to get that sorted out. So we are wearing one's muffler because we are now back into windy weather. Yesterday was the day we got absolutely tons done. I had some outstanding work in the garden here to do. The top of these hedges that were just needed to be clipped off, they're all finished. I've also finished at the rear of the property. It's just those maintenance jobs that I was hoping to get done 2 weeks ago, never got around to it. Bees have taken over and there's still a whack of work to do here. What we're going to be doing this week is, with my rotavator, we're going to be scratching up the surface of this, removing all the stones, just enough just to get the top a bit more level. And then we're going to be seeding it with some grass seed, just because this area where the septic tank, that's the runoff for the septic tank, is all under there. We just want to scratch it up and get some grass seed on it, because the grass seed grows much better than trying to leave it to go back to its original state. If you use, or if you leave, I should say, the original weeds to come through, it'll take hours and weeks of cutting. So we're just going to spend a bit of time this week between the showers, getting that all just literally scratched up and then seeded, because it's going to make it so much better for long-term maintenance and less hassle. Because when you have to trim something like that, or with the brush cutter, if you don't clear it down now, otherwise what happens is you end up hitting stones. But we've also managed to get everything cut here, just a rough cut. My son Thomas did all that yesterday. Now he's older, he can get on with stuff like that, which saves me the time and gives me the encouragement to carry on with other stuff. So all our hedges are up to date. There was no birds nesting in this. I want just to tell you that they're only just starting to come into leaf, so I just got there before the leaves come in. There's no chaffinches, nothing nesting yet. My other big hedges at the back, that's where the birds will be, because that's like an established thicket you can see there right down the property. And I've got some other ones here that I leave well alone for the birds, and that's where they usually nest. Blackbirds love to nest in that. That's my flowering Lonicera, the winter Lonicera fragrantissima at the back. So my kind of ethos is, we have to do stuff and we have a garden where we can all kind of work together. And there's areas that I don't touch, and there's also areas that I have to maintain. And it's just getting that balance between the two and finding enough time to keep on top of it. Because I've been doing this thing here, everything else has fallen by the wayside, but we are rapidly catching up, I have to say. So it's all good news. I've got a AZ hive there at the front of my shed, which I'm going to have to split because it's absolutely bulging with bees, which is good news. So I'm probably going to do that later this week if we get a calm spell, if it doesn't swarm first. But I saw lots of bees yesterday, scout bees, around these hives all of a sudden, so I'm pretty sure that that's got queen cells in it. So I'm trying to get there later today if I can, but it depends on the weather. But I brought my rotavator in from the garden last night, where I've been storing it for years in my polytunnel, and more work to do with that before that's ready. But I had it completely overhauled about 2 years ago and haven't used it since. And I was telling you how I'm going to run a fantastic veg patch and everything like that, but I haven't had a chance to use it. But it's going to get hammering this week. But the problem is we have a bit of a breakdown on it. There is the baby. So what happened is the wheel went flat, and I thought when I got it out from my polytunnel last night that I'd be able to just ride it here. But this one had a leak anyway. But what's happened is the tube inside, the wheel has spun. Sorry, the tyre has spun on the wheel, and it's pulled the valve out of the hole. So what I'm going to have to do, and because the tyre's old, I'm probably going to have to get a new tyre as well, because it's been cracked for too long. My fault. Just need to get it organised, go get the wheel off, take it straight down to the guy who services this for me, because he'll have one maybe in stock. If not, he can get it within a couple of days. What happened, this is a Lombardini power head on this machine, and it's a Fort is the name of rotavator. It's Italian, but I've had it for years, and it's an absolute workhorse. And when I used to do landscape gardening, I could do loads of lawns with this. You can see it's got quite a nice set of rotors underneath for scratching up lawns. This is another tool that is really helpful when you're, believe it or not, when you're doing landscape gardening, because you can do so much with this. So long story short, I had it overhauled and I haven't used it, but I'm now going to hammer it, but I've now got this problem to sort out. So hopefully we can get that wheel off today, get that down tomorrow morning, because being bank holiday today, it's Easter Monday, and there's still obviously tons to do. But let me talk about the weather. The weather this week is going to be pretty pants. It's going to be windy and showery all week, but we need the rain. So hopefully, if we are going to have crap weather, let's have lots of rain, and that'll help against Asian hornets, because as I said before, an unstable spring really puts them through their paces trying to raise a new nest. But long story short, we're dry today, so we can get a lot done. I'm out this afternoon doing more transfers. I'm just going to be tidying up more nukes that arrived yesterday, got them in last night. That's the great thing about having a pallet and a pallet truck, is I unload on my pad or wherever I want, but I'm unloading in that corner because it keeps all the shit in that corner for me while I'm bringing back all these babies to get them tidy and cleaned up. And then I'm burning them off with my new blowtorch, just burning off the tops, just keeping them clean, just getting all the gunk out the top so that then I can put frames back in. And a lot of the frames are reusable, which is great. So, and we've discussed this a few times, I know, but I am reusing a lot of frames. And in fact, I'm being less and less selective as time goes on. I'm a bit of a frame snob, I suppose you could say. But as time goes on and you're using more and more frames, you end up being a little bit less selective. So that will be the plan for this week, to just soldier on as much as I can, get everything transferred, move stuff around, bring back dead outs. The other dead outs that are in the apiaries that are not going to be refilled straight away, that's not urgent. The main thing is this week we've got pants weather. Now, what I do with my honey supers is, other people in the UK, for example, they've got supers on already. That's fine, great. Good luck to them. But for us, we don't ever put our supers on here for another week, which will be perfect for the end of this week. And there's not a huge amount of honey I'm going to get this spring, probably, as I've discussed with you before. But long story short, there will be some, and we'll have a good flow next week if the weather calms down like it's supposed to. So we'll have a rubbish week this week. It'll delay everything. It'll delay swarming, give me time to get into those few colonies I haven't inspected, allow me to move hives around. And then by the end of the week, we should be ready for the flow when the weather finally calms down again. But this is classic Brittany, what we have here. Very often we have periods of 1 or 2 weeks in the spring, and that is completely what I'm happy with. I'm used to that. You just work around it, you do the best you can, and long story short, we'll get through the spring, and we should have a good period next week. We only need 2 weeks of reasonable weather, and there's 2 full weeks after next week left of the rapeseed, of the hawthorn, which is here. I can even show you some in flower. All the people in the UK will be in a gasp. How can that be in flower already? Well, this hedge tends to do that. We get a few places here and there where you get a bit of flower, and it's like, but the main thrust of flowers won't be till the week after next, and that's when you have those couple of really good weeks to fill up your supers nicely, quickly. And by that time as well, your bees have had another week to get their colonies a bit stronger. What I showed you the other day with nectar going into the brood nest is absolutely so A1 typical of what you get early in the year. There's just so much nectar suddenly arrives in the colonies that I personally don't feel there's enough of a colony to manage it properly, because I'm seeing backfilling in the brood nest. And when you see that this time of year, it's bad news, because it just induces swarming. Small colonies, not up to full strength, haven't got the workers within the colony. They've got bees that are going out to forage because they feel that they should be because it's spring. And there's also some of the older bees still dying off. So the new roles aren't completely in place. There's an imbalance of bees in the colony. Some have different duties that aren't doing the full movement of nectar around the colony. And what happens? They put it straight into the brood nest because they don't know any other place. There's just not the infrastructure in place. That's how I feel about it. And that's the problem with rapeseed, is every year, historically, it's got earlier and earlier and earlier every year with the climate moving north. And our bees become less and less able to deal with it because our bees haven't got bigger earlier. But that's a matter for debate. I know there's all this, how you look after your bees is important, how you deal with your varroa. Don't forget, what I'm seeing as well is I'm seeing, even though there's colonies that have died, the other colonies are actually a little bit weaker in general than they were this time last year. Because of the Asian hornet problem last summer, it depressed the colonies so much that we're still paying for it now. And you know, there's always going to be varroa in the issue of overwintering colonies. I don't deny that, but I have to say, again, people keep saying to me, oh, it's probably varroa that killed your bees. Probably, yeah, some of them, but it certainly wasn't all of it. How can you say that those videos I sent didn't have an impact on the colonies? I mean, there's just nothing the bees can do. And that's from mid-July right the way through to November. Same time as the bees are trying to make winter bees. So I'm back at the nuke yard with my truck full of hives, all cleaned, ready to do transfers again. I've been doing some transfers already. I've been doing some splits. They're all basically managed except this one I have forgot. And it's a bit colossal. Look at the amount of bees. This must have been like sheets of brood just hatching at the same time. So we're going to transfer this into a hive. No problem at all. It's going to knock the bees off. The biggest thing I haven't got is my smoker, and I never would attempt to do this without a smoker. But you know what? The bees are nice, and I think there's an egg in there on one side. Yep, there is. So the queen has been up here, so I've got to be very careful. There's the queen there. See her there? This makes everything really easy because I've got her now. I've got to find a clip to put her in. Don't want to damage her legs. Quickly grab her, got the wing. You can always hold a queen like that. Okay, easy peasy. So now I've got to find, while I'm holding the queen, I've got to find a clip. If I could find my queen clip, it would be helpful. And then I know that she is safe. Blimey, so disorganised. Let's have a look, see what I can find. I've got a Nico cage here. Is that sealed at the end? Yes, I can use this. So, here's my Nico cage I had in the truck. Just going to whack her in this, and the bees can come up around her. Keep an eye on her, and I can do my transfer, and she's completely safe in there. In she goes. She's in the cage now. That was a bit of luck. So I can quickly empty this out, chuck everything to one side, literally. I'm going to slide the nuke over a bit, slide the hive over a bit, make a bit of room for this hive. There's just bees everywhere here. Woohoo! Let's stick this on the floor like I did before. There she is, she's safe. Let's put her in there for now. She'll be nice and warm with the other bees. I'm going to put this nuke on the floor once I've shaken all the bees off the feeder. Because I actually took the feeder out here the other day and moved it to one side so the bees could use this as an access through the hole in the middle there, which you can't see right now. But so I could give the bees room if they needed it, and I'm glad I did. So let's move this off its stand. Let's put this on the ground, because there's no other way of doing this. But that's pretty good, that's stable there. You can slide a hive in here. And I have one ready to slide in to the same place. Okay. So I'm going to sort out this configuration of frames as and when I put the bees in what I find as I bring them in. So let's bring the queen up out the way. Look at her, she's smothered in bees already. Let's shake this off into the hive, because we can do that. I'm out between the weather. We had rain just after I spoke to you this morning. Quite heavy, but it's cleared through quickly. So now I can lift this off. Hopefully shake a lot of bees in very quickly. Luckily these are beautiful bees, as you know. And in that goes. Okay, not too bad. So far, so good. Let's make some room here. This is 6 frames, there's no partition in this. So let's see what we got. It's probably all going to be honey and frame and bees and brood, not just stores. So I'll have to put all these 6 frames in as they are. But maybe this outside one will be a bit more forgiving. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that honey. Just honey on this one. And no brood, so that's great. Look at that pollen in the middle there. So this can go 1 frame away, at least. And so that one can go there, can be a brood frame now. And this one can go in number 8. And that can be number 7. And all the ones can, I'm sure the next one will be full of brood. Yep, brood on the next one. Both sides covered. I'm going to be moving out these either tonight or tomorrow morning, because I've got an apiary just ready to take them. And should be pretty easy, because I can take a load of hives out, take them home, clean them and bring them back at the same time I refill the apiary all at once. Beautiful frames. That one's a bit distorted, but it's still okay. Okay. That's good. Check I got the front open. Did I open the front? Yes, I did. I just want to open it and leave it loose, like I do. So good. There's going to be a huge pile of bees waiting to come back to this colony. All flying in front there. Let's move this queen over to there. Still 2 frames to go. Look at that brood. One frame to go, so I'll take this frame out and I'll put this the other side next to the stores. Ow! Well, that wasn't called for. Never mind. Moving on. Okay, so there's a frame just been drawn up. Look at that. Beautiful wax. Some space for the queen to lay, which she's laid in already. Put that there in number 9. Number 10 is the drawn comb I've just given him. So let's release this queen. She can just walk out, hopefully. It's a good way of releasing a queen quickly and holding her safely, unless you have a queen clip. Nice looking queen. Look at that, gorgeous. And she'll go back down into the throng of the colony as if nothing had happened. Yet there'll be more room for her to lay, and everything will be filling up massively, but at least this colony is managed. You can see the bees are pretty excited where she's been. Very nice. Right, in the meantime, I'm going to pick up this box and tip it all over that. And then the queen will go down in her own time. She gone down yet? No, she's still there. Go on, dear, off you go. So the bees are all coming to the front of the colony now. Let's put these frames back a little bit straighter. Okay. She's gone back down. She's still there, look. Go on, off you go. There she goes. She's on that bit of wax now, so I can take the cage away. And she's now inside the throng of the colony. Meanwhile, all these bees are still in the box. I'll just show you how many bees there is. A lot. There's enough there to make a split with. But we are spring and I want this to get away. This will be a production colony in a week, if not tomorrow. Let's give this a good knock. Tip these bees off. Okay, they are in. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Blah, blah, blah. There you go. So we are virtually done here at this apiary now. There's one up there that's really strong I've got to go and sort out now, but because that's a dead out next to it, I can sort that out and snuck a hive in there. Easy to do. And then we are basically done. All those have been checked and reduced. They're all going to go out tonight, tomorrow. So there's loads to do moving hives, but as I said, it's a progress. I'm moving through it. And long and short of it is, we're doing okay. Looks nice, all the nukes, but they'll all soon be gone and there'll all be empty boxes needing cleaning and tidying up. But that's the next stage. So we're moving all these out to apiaries. I've made splits with the ones I needed to. I've got to release queens this week with the ones I made last week. And look at this, you can imagine this is going to fill a box like by tomorrow. And there's 10 frames there. They'll be cleaning it out overnight. Tomorrow I put it into an apiary and I'll give it a super this week, because it'll take a couple of days to fill it all up and just get it ready, and then they can come through the queen excluder and start putting honey into a super. But there won't be much going in this week because the forecast, as I said, is pretty atrocious, but we'll just have to do the best we can. It will help me a little bit here because we're going to have cooler mornings, so the bees won't be flying too early, which is great. So anyway, whatever you're doing, I'll catch you soon. I'm going to just post this video now. It's only Monday, and I'll try and do an update later in the week when I can show you apiaries being cleared and stuff like that. Okay, take care. Bye for now.